Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So last week saw us go to Abu Dhabi, one of them tracks that some people are keen on, and some people don't see. Some people seem to struggle with it, or don't get to grips with the circuit itself. So um, always ends up being quite a quite a grouped pack because of the two DRSs. So that first DRS draws you in, and that second DRS allows the person, if you've made an overtake, to fight back. So you tend to get a bit of a train, which is exactly what happened on Monday night. Now we'll start with quali. Once again, Brad Mason goes on to take pole, which I believe now is his third this season. He's always up there in the top three for qualification, and just seems to be getting these pole positions week in, week out. So took pole, but funny enough, the three sectors, he didn't get a single purple sector. So I was P2 in quali, and I had the purple sector 3, and then Simon was P3 in quali, and he had a purple sector 1 and a purple sector 2. So qualification, we had 1 second separating the top 13 drivers. I say it almost every single week, just how close this does get is ridiculous. So you literally had a tenth separating almost everybody at a stage. So Brad Mason did a 1:22.2. I was then a tenth behind with a 1:22.3/4. He did a high 2, I did a high 3. Simon was then behind with a 1:22.5, so he was just over a tenth behind me. You then had King Kong, who picked up P4 in quali, and he was just under a tenth below Simon, followed by Colin in P5, who was just under a tenth behind King Kong. Then you had Saintsy, and it went on and went on and went on, and you've got pretty much everybody that's either a tenth or just under at the next level. So massive shout out to King Kong, massive shout out to Saintsy, massive shout out to the Sloth, because King Kong as a Pro-Am qualified P4, Saintsy as a Pro-Am qualified P6, and Sloth as a Pro-Am qualified P8. We had Max Weld, who didn't do as well as what we thought he might have done. I mean, I thought he would be up there challenging us in quali, but unfortunately he could only manage a P11 with a 1:22.9, which saw him 6.5 tenths off of pole. And we also missed out on Joker because Joker was away. So that's how qualification went. Now, the race itself. Now, lap one was tight. Everybody got a really good start, and it was so tight. I think at one point there was either 3, might have even been 4 cars trying to go around turn 2, turn 3. Turn 1 was clean as a whistle. But unfortunately, then getting into turn 2 and turn 3, because everybody was so bustled up, we ended up having a collision, which resulted in the DNF, the first DNF, and it was the very unlucky Mr. Pickle. Now, it was one of them incidents where you can't really fault anybody. Nobody's really made a mistake. I believe you had 50 Gent, Saintsy, and a third driver, which is not clear on the footage, and they're trying to go around the corner side by side. They're doing a really good job, actually. And then I think one of them just slightly loses their back end. I think it might have been 50 or the person who was next to him. And then everybody tries to sort of take just a very slight adjustment to address that. So 50 Gent goes off to the side if it wasn't him losing his rear. Saintsy does the same thing, but by doing that has to come inside, which is where Sloth was all of a sudden able to put his foot down on the power a lot quicker than he was. And then unfortunately that led to Sloth hitting the back of Saintsy. Saintsy carried on, no problem whatsoever. But that little touch that Sloth had on Saintsy caused him to spin. So as he spin, he's not ghosted, and then Mr. Pickle's front end has just gone straight into the side of Sloth. Sloth spun out and Mr. Pickle has unfortunately DNF'd. With several cars behind, making some really good manoeuvres to get past that wreckage. So bearing in mind, this was a wreckage that was happening at around the sort of P12, P13, P11 mark. So that's midfield pack. So the rest of the cars behind that do a really good job to completely avoid that. And I think it might have only been Al Newt who actually picked up wing damage because of that wreckage. However, like literally 2 corners down from this, or maybe not even 2 corners, the next corner possibly actually, we had a situation where Smug's gone off track to avoid the wreckage. We've had Speedy Bullet's gone around to avoid the wreckage. So you've got a Smug, you've got a Speedy Bullet, and then you've got a Ninja. Now Ninja's come steaming through. He was at the back of the grid to start with. So as he's come through, he's had a lot more time to react than other people have. So he can see what's happening. Everybody else has gone, oh, I've got to go off here. Oh, I've had to go off here. Ninja's gone, oh, I've got loads of time to... Effectively, he was like Moses parting the sea. He could just go straight through, thread the eye of the needle, boom, straight through. And unfortunately, this collected Speedy Bullet. Because as Speedy Bullet's off to the right-hand side, he's just ever so slightly come in. And as he's come in, and as Ninja's gone past, it's clipped his wing and it's ripped off the front left side of his front wing, which has then meant he's had to come in. We did get the virtual safety car because of the Mr. Pickle incident, and the virtual safety car come out just as Ninja was making that overtaking move. I know there were some issues with some other people that made some clean moves, but it was just as the virtual safety car come out and they had to give him back. But Ninja wasn't one of them. It didn't come up saying that he had to give it back. So I know it was an incident that kind of Speedy Bullet took a bit, sort of a bit of an issue with, but it was just one of them incidents where it opened up, the gap was there and he went through it, and it was going to be a good move. It's just unfortunate that Speedy Bullet just ever so slightly takes that left turn. So it's a lap 1 sort of turn 3, turn 4 incident that, to be honest, is just you can't put anybody at fault for it. It was just one of them pain in the arse incidents that happens. And then later on down the line, Speedy Bullet decides to, I believe he pit and quit. I'm pretty sure he pit and quit. Now again, Speedy Bullet, if you're watching this, it's said so many times in this league, there is absolutely no point pitting and quitting, because every single position is worth a point to your division. So you're a Pro-Am, whether you finish 19th or whether you finish 20th, that's still a single point, that's still 2 points. So again, if there's anybody that's watching this that doesn't understand that, or Speedy Bullet, if you're watching this, do not pit and quit. Do not pit and quit. There is no need to pit and quit. You will get points. You come 17th, you come 16th, you think, oh, what's the point? There is a point. Yeah, you're not going to score any points for the Drivers' Championship, but you're still going to score points for the Pro or the Pro-Am. There was a race in Bahrain where I finished dead last, and Simon and whoever else it was finished P1, P2. And I kind of thought, well, what's the point? But there was a point, because I picked up a single point. And actually, me and Simon in that season drawed on points. A single point for Bahrain, Simon would have won the championship outright. But we drew on points, and because I had more podiums, we had equal first places, I had more podiums, it meant that I took the championship. So that 1 point that I could have pit and quit was the reason I took the title. Sorry, Simon. So the race itself, Brad Mason, to be fair, just P1 in quali, went off. Me and Simon kept the distance of about 2.5 seconds, but he just went off, looked comfortable, and you just had me and Simon jostling for position. Me and Simon decided to start on the hards to go out and go on the mediums, whereas Brad went opposite. Brad went mediums to start with and hards to the finish. Now he just made that work. However, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. Go back and watch the stream, because Blobby catches it in epic fashion. Last corner, Brad Mason. Now I think, Brad, if I'm wrong, I do apologise. But I think that last season, me and Smug banned people taking that corner. And as you take that corner, you can bang your throttle on, you can spin out, you can finish. And then as you finish, the car crashes into the wall and it's this epic boo. And we banned it from the league because it makes the stream and it makes the league look poor. personally, I think that's what he was going for. And unfortunately, as that's happened, he's kind of timed it a little bit wrong there, mate. And he's gone into the wall. He was lucky not to DNF, because that would have been it. He would have scored no points. I mean, well, to be fair, the race classification would have probably given him maybe P16 or something like that, I think, because of the amount of cars that were lapped. But he got overtaken by me, he got overtaken by Simon, and then he finished the race. So he took P3, I took P1, Simon took P2. But it was banned from the league. Now he's claiming that Man City scored, and that's what done it. Now, if that's the case, fair play, whatever. I've won, so I don't care. But I don't think it was that. I think it's that you've tried the classic, let's spin and finish, which was banned from the league. So I don't need to say any more because you came third, so never mind. But Max drove a really good race. So he was 11th on the grid after quali, ended up getting P4. He went a completely different strategy to everybody. He went softs to start with to try and make the ground up, and he made his softs last an epic amount. Now, from the testing that I done, the softs weren't much cop for that long. So I was never, ever going on the softs unless we got a very, very late safety car. But Max, he managed to get 11 laps out of his softs. Now, some people struggle to get 13 laps out of their mediums. So to get 11 laps out of the softs, obviously done something right. So fair play, well done. Really good race. And for that, got driver of the day as well. Senna did a really good job as well, from 7th on the grid to take P5. Had a good race. And who else did we have? We had Al Newt, that was it, that's what I was going to mention. Al Newt was driving an incredible race from being P16 at quali, getting wing damage through no fault of his own and having to pit and being dead last. But anyway, we had no safety cars as well. We had the VSC, but that didn't really help. So he had wing damage. He decided to obviously pit, get that repaired. He had to change his tyre strategy completely. So he ended up doing a hard, medium, medium, soft, which most people just did the one stop. He ended up having to do effectively a 3-stop. In fact, he didn't do a 3-stop. I lie. That record's wrong. It's because the fucking AI did that. So he was dead last. He managed to pull himself back in. He got up to something like, I think it was P12, P11. He would have been taking potentially a podium in the Pro-Am division, and then he disconnected on lap 28. And we all know what the AI is like. They drive like mongs. He pitted in for softs. So normally the AI would have sort of kept a reasonable, he maybe would have lost 1 or 2 positions. He pitted for softs because the AI are stupid. He lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positions because the AI took over, and the AI on this game is just useless, absolutely useless. So big special mention to you, because you would have scored some really good points had that not happened, had that disconnection not have happened. And bearing in mind, this guy is now currently working up in Scotland for the next 4 weeks. He has taken his rig, he's taken his wheel, his seat, his Xbox. I don't know if he's taken his telly or if there's a telly up there. And he's bought himself a USB internet dongle so that while he's up there working, he can still race. So, and then to have that happen. So is Roddy the Kid as well, by the way. Roddy the Kid's done exactly the same thing. So well done, guys. But to have that level of commitment to the league, to racing, and then to be wiped out because of your internet or because something fails or the game, whatever, just because it completely logged him out. I don't think it was an internet issue, actually. I think it just logged him out completely, the Xbox. To then have that, mate, I feel for you. I really do feel for you. So very unfortunate there, buddy. And massive credit for sort of staying committed to the league, mate. And then finally, we get to the league tables. So Pro-Am division now sees Sloth lose points to Saintsy. So Sloth is P1 on 77 points with 2 P1s and a P2. He's also got a fastest lap, and he's technically got a pole as well within the Pro-Am division. So well done there. Racing 5 events with 1 DNF. That DNF has definitely killed him a little bit there in terms of his points. But Saintsy's caught up. Saintsy's now only 3 points behind him on 74 points. He's had a P1 Pro-Am and a P2 Pro-Am, along with a fastest lap. But he's also had a DNF. However, he has raced an extra race over the Sloth because he was unable to for birthdays. All of his family have birthdays on a Monday for some reason. We have 50 Gent sitting in third with 69 points. He's 8 points off of the lead. He's had a P2 and a P3 and also had a DNF. We then have Ninja, who's doing an amazing job this year and also scored a 3rd place at last week's race. He's on 59 points. He's 18 points off of the championship, Pro-Am Championship. He's at the 3rd place, which he just got. And he's raced in all 6 races without a DNF. So if he can kind of keep that up, not DNF in, scoring the back end points, he's going to be in there. He's definitely going to be in there. And he's given his constructors a fighting chance as well. King Kong is on 54 points. So he's 23 points behind. So a race victory would then potentially propel him back up there. He's had 1 win and a P2. He's had a DNF and he's only raced 4 races. So again, that DNF that he had has definitely killed him for being up there fighting. He might not be racing tonight, not sure, we'll see. Hopefully some news will come out before this is released. Al Newt is in P6 with 51 points, sitting a race victory and fastest lap behind the win, the leading pack. So he's 26 points behind. He's got a P1 and he's got a P3, but he has had a DNF as well, which was Baku. That Baku result has killed him because he would have been P1. So that would have been sitting him a lot higher up. But hey ho. Skippy's P7 with 48 points, 29 points behind, with a P2 and 2 P3s, a DNF and missing 1 race. Easy Life is on exactly the same points. He's also had a P2. He's raced all races without a DNF. So at the moment, it's only him and Ninja for the Pro-Ams that have raced every single race and haven't had a DNF. So keep that up, boys. Speedy Bullet, who's coming as a reserve, is P9 on 25 points with a race win and having raced 2 races. Plus then he obviously DNF'd at Abu Dhabi, which was a real shame. If he'd have just finished and got some points, it would have propelled him up there. Levi finally getting some good points. So he is 21 points and he's away off the championship, but we'll see what he can do. He's had a P3, but unfortunately this guy has had 3 DNFs out of the 5 races that he's been here for. And 1 he had an issue in his village with internet, I think. So things can turn around, Levi. They can turn around. Roddy the Kid is bottom in terms of your full-time drivers. He is on 20 points. Brand new to league racing, let's not forget. So he's doing well. He has improved massively. And he's 57 points behind. He's had no top 5 finishes. So hopefully moving forward, that's now going to be his next step. And he has had 2 DNFs. So that is not going to have helped his chances. We then go to the Pro Championship. We won't bother with the drivers because the drivers kind of replicates the Pro to some extent anyway. We'll have a little look, see if there's any Pro-Ams that are high up there. So I'm currently leading the championship with 118 points, 2 victories, 1 P2 and 3 P3s, 0 DNFs. Myself, Brad Mason, Miller Vanilla, and that is it. So we have all raced 6 races this season without a DNF. Everybody else has had a DNF. That DNF has definitely killed Simon, 100%. So Simon is 15 points behind me with a 103. He's had a win and 3 P2s. He's also had 2 fastest laps, which I'm yet to achieve, and he's had pole position, but he did have that DNF that's definitely cost him. Brad Mason is on 100 points, so in P3 he is 18 points off the lead. He's had 2 victories and 2 P2s. So I think Brad is definitely gonna challenge. He's been rapid. He has been rapid. So he is definitely one to really watch out for this season. We're at the halfway mark now, so this is when things are really going to start. These tracks coming up, I think Brad and Simon are really gonna take it to the next level. So fingers crossed, I can hold out. Senna, the right choice to put you in Pro. P4, 51 points. Now, I appreciate you are 67 points off of the victory and you're sitting there going, oh, I'm never going to catch up, blah. But you're kind of in that battle of best of the rest, to be honest, and leading it and doing a really good job. So take that. You've got a P3 as well. You're doing really well in the extreme lead as well, just to say. So you've got P3. Unfortunately, had one DNF, which did definitely, again, a sort of cost him, which was in Monaco, because he would have picked up some pretty decent points there. Real Max World, he's only raced 4 races, but he's 5th with 49 points. So he's 69 points behind, but he's had 2 P2s. Again, looks really quick. Just kind of, it's unfortunately been a little bit inconsistent in some of the races. So that has definitely cost him. Miller Vanilla, obviously promoted last season from Pro-Am to Pro. He's 6th, 47 points, 71 points behind the lead. But he has had a fastest lap that he got in Abu Dhabi, cheeky little rascal, took it off me. So managed to take that extra point, which was a pain, but never mind. Colin is P7 with 42 points, having had a DNF. He's 76 points off, and he's yet to have a podium finish, as is Miller. So Miller, Colin, yet to have a podium finish. Joker currently sits P8 with 36 points, 82 points off of the victory. But again, he's missed 2 races. So those 2 races that he's missed, again, some good points there that have potentially been lost. But again, he's had 2 fastest laps, but hasn't had a podium position yet, which is very unlike Joker. But he has got problems with his wheel, so that could be why. Smug is P9 with 32 points and 86 points off the victory. Again, not a podium there. He's had a DNF though, which will have cost him some points to get in that midfield battle. We then have Bunnies, obviously won race 1, but then had to sort of get demoted. And then Mr. Pickle, who is just having the same luck as what Levi is, to be honest, at the moment. So he's 20 points, 98 points off of the victory. And again, without podium, but 2 DNFs and missed a race. So that has 100% cost him in that situation. The only mention to say the Drivers' Championship is just that you've got the top guys, which are the pros. And then after that, it goes to the Pro-Ams, except Mr. Pickle, who's obviously been very unlucky. So it stays in the same format pretty much, except Max and Senna have done a switch in there. So it's good to see. That's what we want from the Drivers' Championship. We want it to be done in that way. And finally, we get on to the Constructors. Again, I say it every single week, and I think I'll probably say it every single season, but this is just looking like an epic battle, and I think it's going to go down to the wire. So we're going to start from the bottom. Ferrari having a appalling season, because you've got Levi and Mr. Pickle, who are phenomenal drivers and both should be competing in their titles. However, they just don't seem to be getting any luck. They are currently last on 58 points. Next up, you have Alpine, 66 points, which you've got Roddy and Colin. Now, that team has been a complete makeshift team. It never should have been like that because of issues that we had at the start of the league. We had to just make do with what we could. So I do apologise there, guys. That has not been your fault. That's on me. So that team should be a different team and they should be up there competing. Now, from 8th to 1st is separated by 66 points. Now, bearing in mind, you can earn 52 points if you were to get a P1 fastest lap and your partner was to get a P1 fastest lap. So at no point are any of these people out. This is still so close. So P8 is Mercedes, which is 50 Gent and Joker. Now Joker is 50 Gent's up there, but Joker's had a couple of poor races. So you twist that around, and we're looking at a team that's now in that fight. So these next 6 races are going to be crucial for a lot of these teams, but especially for Mercedes, because Joker should be up there anyway. So they're on 103. Above them in P7 is Red Bull of Miller Vanilla and of King Kong. They're on 112. Again, they're kind of in the same situation as Alpine. I had to make some switches there, which really hasn't helped them. But King Kong is gonna do really well in the Pro-Am division as long as he can race tonight, which we'll find out. And Miller Vanilla is still picking up points. I know he doesn't like finishing P7, P8, P6, P5, P4, but he is, and he's constantly scoring points. He's finished every single race, so he's doing well to pick up points. He's kind of capitalising on people's mistakes, so which is what you want in the Constructors. And he won the Constructors last year with AlphaTauri, so we don't want you winning twice in a row. McLaren sit P6 with 118. Now, a lot of those points have come from Ninja because his teammates have kind of been hit and miss. Again, had to make a little change there race after race 1. And then we've had a couple of people come in there who haven't been committed to that seat. So we've changed that anyway. But 118, so they're 51 points off of the championship. We then have Aston Martin, who's now who's now Senna and Saintsy. And they're on 125. So they're 44 points behind. Now, they are, for me, they're a team to watch because you can get Senna's going to pick up points and Saintsy's still in and around there picking up points. So as long as they don't have any DNFs, and as long as they race each week, I can see them being a dark horse that sneaks into this battle. I really can. You've then got the Alfa Romeo of Sloth and Smug on 134 points, so they're 35 points off. Now, let's get this straight. Sloth's scoring points, yes. Smug is having a piss poor season by his standards. They're only 35 points behind, and Smug is having a season where he's pretty much last, bar Mr. Pickle in the Pro Division. If Smug was to start picking up some points, they would be walking this because he's picking up just the odd point here and there, but he's not picking up the points that he should be picking up. And they're only 35 points behind. So they're another one to really keep an eye on. But you'd expect better from them, and especially from Smug with the experience that he's got and the capabilities. Going to the next 6 races, I know there's 2 races that he thinks he can do well at. There's a couple that he's not overly keen on. But again, let's just keep an eye on them. The next 3, the top 3, are the top 3 from the Pro Drivers' Championship. So you've got Williams, 151, they're 18 points off. Simon and Easy Life doing a really good job. If Easy Life can just continue to pick those points up, Simon can keep picking some points up, then that's gonna switch that around and you're going to be in that fight. P2, Haas, now they've been the dominant constructor this season with Skippy and with Brad, but it does seem like Brad's had a couple of results that have gone against him through his own faults, and Skippy's obviously had a DNF and he's missed a race. So again, they're 6 points off the lead. They're on 163 points, 6 points off the lead with having a DNF, one person not race, and 2 mistakes from Brad that were costly mistakes that cost him 2 positions in one race, and then the 30-second time penalty that cost him a very easy race victory. So they should be up there. They should be in P1 right now, had those little mistakes not happened. So I think the constructors is theirs. I really do. I think if they can just get a bit of consistency and get those errors gone, they're going to walk it. So, and then P1 is AlphaTauri of myself and Al Newt. Now, obviously, Al Newt's had a couple of races that haven't gone his way, so we would have scored some more points. I still think the Haas are quicker, but Al Newt's had a DNF. He's had that result in Abu Dhabi where the AI were wankers and all of that. So he has been so unlucky. But going into this week, he's not able to race. We're having a ringer come in for him. And then that also means that at the race in Kota, he will not have a grid position. He will start from the back. So it's going to be a bit up against us now because it's going to be 2 races where he's not going to score points and then he's going to have to come back from the back. So it's going to be up against it for us as a constructor. But we like a challenge, and we will keep going till the end, as always. But this constructor battle is going to be epic. It is going to be epic. I mean, we've got battles in the Pro-Am, we've got battles in the Pro, we've got battles in the driver, and we've got battles in the constructor. Every single one of them is there to see. Every single one of them is there to watch. So, guys, tune in, watch it. Fingers crossed it goes to the wire for the last race, which I think it will. I think it will across all divisions. And tonight we head to Silverstone, which is the majority of the people in this league's home Grand Prix, because most of the people in there are English, British, whatever you want to call everyone says something different, but it's going to be the home Grand Prix. So, and Silverstone is a proper racetrack. It is a proper racetrack. So, looking forward to it. See what it brings. I'm predicting a Brad's P1, Sign P2, and hopefully a me P3. That's my prediction for it, but we'll see. So, I will see you all on track.
Skippy missing in the Haas, and I think Swanton's teammate, I can't remember who Swanton's teammate is also not in at the moment. Might get in shortly, or it might be ready up time and into qualifying. This one's a short quali and 50% feature race, 26 laps as you can see. And that's the same format for Blobby Mondays tonight. Short quali and 50% race at Portugal. And then, of course, the new season goes to the reverse grid format that's been proved so good on a Thursday in DRS. Blobby Mondays will be going on that format. And there are still reserve places available for that. So if you would like to have a go yourself, do join our Discord, which I'm going to put in the chat.
Discord. Join Blobby's Discord here. https://biscorb.gg/4.
Here we go, the ready up has been called and we're counting in now. So yeah, do join the Discord that is in the chat. Kick one takes a little while to load.
Let's go, Spike. Roll. Here's a treat. Fetch. Sit.
Pets are like bank accounts. You should find the right one for you.
Do something, please.
Maybe it's time to switch with the current account switch service.
Get your hands on the latest game-changing tech at Currys, like claiming Galaxy Buds 2 Pro and Smart Tag 2 with a stunning new Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Enjoy gaming and entertainment like never before with its super bright display, plus a super fast processor for ultra-smooth gaming and realistic graphics. From $52.99 a month on ID Mobile, and you get free next day delivery. In store at Currys or online at carphonewarehouse.com.
The only phone with best tape. Google Pixel 8.
It all comes down to this basic question. Can I improve me? You will begin to find out that learning is good for you, and the great things that you do are really happenings.
So here we go. Let's see who is going to be the first one out on the track. Looks like an Alpine. And that is Colin. So Colin on his way out of the pits. As we begin this qualifying session. Right behind Colin is Syme. And we've got a McLaren out on track also. That's Ninjas. The other McLaren just coming out now as well. 50 Gent has been disconnected. Let me see if I can get him back in. I haven't got him. I have got him. Here he is. Send him an invite. And hopefully he'll be able to get back in. DRS racers, do add me on EA or PSN and I'll try and get you back in if you get DC'd. We are going to stick with Syme here, even though Colin is first out. Syme being in the front P3 in the championship and always qualifying quite high up. I think we will follow his first attempt at a hot lap. Here we go. There we go, the Discord link did go for on kick eventually, it just takes a little while to load up, so no problems there, and Simon has invalidated. So we will go and see Colin, as he is on his way through Sector 2 now. Crowding on the track at the moment, especially in Sector 1, just after the pit exit. Colin's going to set the first lap time of this qualifying session, and it is a 1:26.3 for the Alpine. Here is Brad. Good evening to Bazza in the chat. Over on Dynamic Racing League UK. Ninjas is on a 1:29.8. There's Max World going to provisional pole, his teammate. 1:26.2 for him. Smugger 1:27.2. Easy Life 1:28.1. Mr. Pickle 1:28.5. And Levi as well. Sloth 1:29. Let's see what Brad does. It's a 1:26.4, and that's P3 for the Haas. Good evening, Jonathan. Thank you for the tabs. See you later on. And Mark T goes to P4 with 1:26.5. The newcomer at Red Bull replacing Miller Vanilla. Symes back out on track for another go. And this time he has not invalidated early.
I'm predicting you the NF tonight low.
Here comes Syme. Pole position. Provisional pole position for Syme. 1:25.9. Thank you so much for the prediction of me DNFing tonight, Jonathan. I really hope not. See, didn't end well for me in social the other night. But hopefully, one of my favourite tracks, I can end on a good note. You've got work to do, Jonathan, to get yourself off the bottom of...
Last time I said you would DNF in Monza.
You've got work to do yourself, Jonathan, to get yourself off the bottom of the Constructors' Championship. So here we have a few more have set times. Here's Senna in the Aston Martin. He set a 1:26.5. And that's P5 for him at the moment as he gets out of the way of someone else's flyer. It's Swanson.
Too much weight low.
Oh, that's a cruel and callous jibe at your teammate who's trying her best. But possibly true.
Joy, love it. Reckon Cam will win tonight if he's racing.
Now we don't want Cam to win, Stacey, because that means I'll not be third in the championship. We need Cam to not win, and we need me to kind of do better than him and Webster. in the absence of Grace. So yes, we need to not have that happen. Swanson doing his usual here, a second warm-up lap. They'll set a ridiculously slow time that probably I could beat. There's a 1:48.7 there. So he'll now be onto his hot lap. In Congo 50 Gent on their way out. Joker always leaves it late or doesn't even bother to qualify. And Roddy the Kid also on his out lap. All trying to create a gap for their Max World's cutting the grass. That was a very interesting line to finish his, what I assume was his out lap again. In fact, I assume wrong, as his battery seems to be completely empty, so he'll cruise back round into the pits. He's currently P2, ahead of Colin, who's on another out lap. And then all the way down to Swanson. Let's go back to Swanson, as he's a good 20 seconds up on this silly time he posted the first time. And he'll be after more. Syme coming back out on the track now. What can Swanson do here? 1:26.3 for him and P3. Who else is on our hottie? Here is King Kong. King Kong crosses the line at 1:27.1, and that's good enough for P9 at the moment. Here is 50 Gent, pleased that he's got back in after disconnecting earlier. He's trying to make up for lost time and get a lap on the board. Here he comes through the last couple of corners, and 50 goes 1:26.9, and that puts him in P8 at the moment. Roddy the Kid back out and having another go. In fact, he's slowing. So Roddy set a 1:29 there. Joker's on his out lap. Apologies. Let's see Syme here, slightly up on his time. Pushing it right to the limit through Maggots and Beckett's. And setting purple there in Sector 2. Here comes Syme, in a curb there. The Rory goes across the line, not improving in the end. Brad is a couple of tenths up and not quite getting under the 1:26, but does go to P2. 1:26.0 for him. Senna's back out with a 10th down. Let's see how Mark T's doing. He's a couple of tenths up, Mark T. A very lively newcomer. out to the line goes Mark T with a 1:26.1, and that's up to P3. Cracking lap from him. Let's go and see Smug as he's a second down. Only Joker then, yet to set a time, and he is on his hot lap now, so let's watch him. Just 5 minutes left in the session. Everybody now set a time except Joker, who is about to. And he does a 1:26.4, which puts him up to P8. So there we go, everybody is on the board. And there's about 4 minutes or so left, as you can see on the timer there. So time for one more run for most of these. Ronnie slightly down on his previous. Easy Life is coming round towards the end of another lap. And invalidates there, using way too much inside carb. Maxwell doing his bit to warm his tyres. He's just come out of the pits. Board now with Swanton. He seems to be cruising around, so let's see Max. Max has managed to pull 4 tenths from somewhere, and this could be pace for pole here. It could be on pole position pace with this lap. As little wheel spin as you can through and across the line. Provisional pole position for Max World, 1:25.8. Swanton cruising round on his double formation lap strategy. And while we are going to stay with Swanton for a minute, I am going to quickly check something on the phone. Swanton starting his hot lap. And another horse comes second. Very annoying. There's Swanton then. Is he going to get further up? Maxwell thinks he's done enough and is leaving his car in the pit lane. Swanton's invalidated, and that is going to be that for him, I think. Syme now.
Max, Colin, Smug, any order tonight?
Max, Colin and Smug is the call from Stacey. Colin has just been disconnected, I think. Syme and Swanton will not be happy with that. Max, Colin and Smug is the bold prediction. I think, just to be different, I'm going to say Brad, Syme and Senna. Sorry, Swanton. No bias from me, of course, on commentary. Syme has pulled 2/10 out. Is it going to be enough for pole as the checkered flag now waves? Across the line he's going to come. Syme 1:25.899. He's not quite done it. It's P2 unless someone else can take it. Smug goes P9. Levi's finished. Mr. Pickle's cruising round. Mark T takes provisional pole, but Brad is still on track.
Yeah, I usually predict similar but feeling like I need to switch up.
Senna! Senna takes provisional pole! Is Brad going to do it? Senna a 1:25.6. What's it going to be from Brad Mason? It's a 1:25.9 and only P5. Joker P3. And that completes it, I think, as Mr. Pickle was cruising. So, the front three in the championship of Syme, Brad and Swanton are 5, 6 and 8. So there's a switch up. Bazza cheering on Senna in the chat. And Senna is on pole. Senna puts the Aston Martin on pole. Just a 10th ahead of Mark T's Red Bull. Joker in P3 ahead of Max World's McLaren. Then it's Simon, Brad, Sloth and Swanton from Colin, Smug, Mr. Pickle, King Kong, Ronnie, 50 Gent. Let me just scroll. Then Levi, Ninjas, Easy Life and Roddy the Kid. We have a little break now for the drivers to sort their strategies. So you will see the pit wall for a little while. And I will give you some details of the standings. So let's find some standings. So that would be in here.
Discord. Join Blobby's Discord here. https://discord.gg/4/6gjas.
There you go, there's the Discord link if you would like to come in and join for our race this evening. I was looking for the DRS tables, wasn't I? Which is here somewhere. Indeed. We'll start with the Pro-Ams where Senna's departure to the pro scene leaves Sloth top of the table. 3 points ahead of Sainz and 8 ahead of 50 Gent. Then it's Ninjas. King Kong is coming through, having missed a couple of races. And then Al Newt, Skippy, an easy life. On the pro side, it is Swanton from Syme and Brad. Well clear then of Senna. And the Constructors' Championship has AlphaTauri at the top, ahead of Haas, who are, I think, single-manned today, with just Brad involved. They're followed by Williams, Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes, with Ferrari and Alpine trailing at the bottom. That brings you right up to date. I will, of course, take you through the tyre selections on the formation lap as we prepare for this 26-lap race around this famous old circuit, which in real life has been extended by 10 years. So you will see the British Grand Prix at Silverstone on the F1 calendar until at least 2034. So if you're a fan of Silverstone, then happy days for you. Seems to be a driver's favourite on the game anyway. Certainly not mine, as it's penalties galore as I stumble over the curbs through Maggots and Beckett's. But we will see what will happen in this race this evening. After the race, I will be going offline and then doing another stream later on for Blobby Mondays. All big difference of opinion at the front, where the front row, Senna and Mark T go on softs. Joker's on hards. Max Weld's on softs. And then Syme, Brad, Sloth and Swanton are all on hards. So the championship choice seems to be hards. The front two on the softs trying to make a getaway. And it's Colin and Smug and Mr. Pickle all on mediums. King Kong and Ronnie are on the hards. 50 Gent the mediums. Levi the hards. Ninjas and Easy Life the mediums. And Roddy the Kid starts at the back on those hard tyres. Soft medium a two-stopper, or hard medium a one-stopper, says Amazon. Let's see what will happen. Is there a possibility of rain? I don't see the weather forecasts, of course, like the drivers do. And also, could the safety car have an impact? Rather chilly this evening. No stream from me on Thursday, as we are off to Sandown races, and then I've got a wedding party to go to. So join Dynamic Racing League UK at 8 PM on Thursday, where Swanton will be on commentary, and he's hoping to get the Sloth in as well. So do join, not on my channel, but on Dynamic Racing League UK as normal on Thursday from 8 PM. There may be a blobby stream on Friday, potentially. Or late on Sunday before the new league starts next week. But nothing on Thursday. Senna leads them round then to the grid. We're going to have this view for the start. Joker's been disqualified for parking. Anybody else suffering the same fate? Roddy just pulling onto the grid now. There we go. 5 lights. Stay on a very long time and away they go. And Mark T seemed to react a bit better than Senna, but Senna got away well. Max Weld up the inside of Joker has taken P3. Brad is ahead of Syme. Swanton is in 7th at the moment. And Brad's already trying to get past Joker. Almost pushed wide there was Brad. Joker and Brad having a real scrap already. Max Weld having a look at Mark T as well. So the 3 soft runners have hot-footed it. From Joker, then it's Brad, Syme, Swanton, Mr. Pickle. Colin is now behind Sloth in P10. Smug has dropped to P12 and King Kong is off. King Kong's gone off there and he's dropped right to the back. Brad has now passed Joker and Max Weld has passed Mark T. So Senna leads from Max Weld, then it's Mark T. Then Brad Mason from Joker, and then it's Syme who's looking up the inside of Joker. Joker not having a great start. He's dropped now to P5. Two of the title contenders are now past him. And the other one is right on his tail. Senna, fastest lap off the grid, leads.
The only phone with best tape. Google Pixel 8.
Maxwell closing in on Senna. Mr. Pickle making a move on Swanton. Big move for Mr. Pickle there. Swanton's going to try and fight him round the outside. Runs out of track to do so. And Mr. Pickle takes P7. Just as we were anticipating Brad, Syme and Swanton to follow each other up the standings, Swanton drops a place and may have Colin to look at behind him shortly as well. As everyone concertina's through. Look at Colin! Colin side by side with Swanton. Ahead of Swanton. Colin up to P9. Smug takes Ronnie for P11. Max Weld is into the lead. He set the fastest lap. I apologise, I missed the overtake. But Max Weld, as you can see from on board with Senna, now leads the race. Third lap now, and Senna is now chasing Max Weld. They've dropped Mark T by a second and a half, who is falling back towards the clutches of Brad, Syme and Joker, as well as Mr. Pickle. Close racing all the way down the grid at the moment. I'm pleased to say no incidents causing a safety car or a DNF, but let's hope, fingers crossed, that is not the commentator's curse right there. Mr. Pickle getting close to the back of Joker now, as Colin has passed Swanton also now, as you saw. So Swanton down in P9. The Alfa Romeos are going at it behind, and Smug takes P10 from his teammate. Not sure if there's any team orders going on down there at what will be known next season as Stake Sauber. But we will see how that pans out during this race. Brad now getting very close to the back of Mark T. But look at Syme and Joker Mr. Pickle and Colin all in this battle. Look at them all there. Brad's making the move. Hard tyres versus soft tyres, but it doesn't matter. Brad up to P3, ahead now of Mark T. King Kong made a pass there on Ninjas towards the back. Senna has not given up. Chasing the leader yet. And Mark T might lose another place here as Syme is now right with him. Got to watch out for Joker behind also. And Mr. Pickle and Colin. Syme trying to put that Williams in the best position to attack and defend at the same time. And Mark T has gone off into the pit lane. Mark T's in the pit lane. Mr. Pickles picked up a penalty. So Mark T has had enough of those softs after just 4 laps. I would assume that he didn't have a wing change. So Mark T drops right to the very back of the field. The order on lap 5. Maxwell leads from Senna. There's Brad Mason and Syme. Joker, Mr. Pickle, Collins, Swanton, Smug and Sloth. That's your top 10. Good evening, Adkins. Look forward to racing with you later on for the season finale in Portugal. Easy Life getting close to the back of King Kong. But went wide and there ruined his chance, I think.
Yes, looking forward to it. Always good racing with you, Blog.
And into P3 goes Syme ahead of Brad now. Yeah, really looking forward to the new season of Blobby Mondays, where I'll be back in the commentary box rather than in the car. But we'll still be enjoying the game and racing on a social basis, as well as reserving in Baker's League, and maybe another one on a different day potentially in future. So it's not the end for me in terms of driving the F1 car, as Mr. Pickle tries to get around Joker. The proper scrap is this one. They're very tight together. And for now, Mr. Pickle can't get it done. He does already have a penalty. I'm sure more drivers will be getting those as the race goes on. Certainly would be if I was driving. Both with DRS, but Mr. Pickle is going to see if he's got the pace to out-drag around the outside. He hasn't quite. And Joker doing a good job of defending from him at the moment, which he's fully entitled to do, of course. Smug now catching Swanton, who's having not the best of evenings so far. Swanton, championship leader, is in P8 and has been dropping back down the field as his title rivals climb up through it. Levi now attached to the back of Ronnie. We've got 50 Gent there as well. Mr. Pickle finally makes his move on Joker. And Smug has got Swanton. Swanton really struggling to light these hard tyres up. Smug had a bit of a wobble though, and Swanton's going to take that place back. And now Ronnie ahead of Levi. The 50 gent right there as well. Brad getting close to the back of Syme. These two having a good battle. The three behind, Mr. Pickle, Joker and Colin, as Joker goes up the inside and back into P5. He is having a very eventful race, is Joker at the moment. He's involved in many scraps. And he's continuing to drive well. Easy Life and Ninjas, I think, came to some kind of collision there, maybe. So Ninjas will now hope to get away there. Brad close in behind Syme. Look at Mr. Pickle in the background trying anything he can to try and unsettle Joker. Pushed himself a bit wide there. It's almost let Colin in. Here comes Mr. Pickle again. And look at Brad again. Is he going to make a dive up the inside? No, he is not. But look how close they are together here. And in the championship, of course. Mr. Pickle still can't get past a stubborn Joker. Levi passed 50 gent there. Sorry, Ronnie is with them. He passed who a second ago. But Ronnie is in P11 anyway. Here's 50 gent having a look. Levi goes up the inside of Ronnie and maybe they touch. And that's going to cost Levi. As 50 gent takes P12. Mr. Pickle's got another penalty. That will do him no good whatsoever in the final reckoning. Brad's going for Syme again. Mr. Pickle's going for Joker again. Into the pits comes comes Max World, sorry. Senna takes the lead of the race. Brad and Syme also go through. As will Mr. Pickle, Joker, Colin, everyone, I think. Down the order goes Max World after his pit stop. He's going for mediums, so perhaps this is a two-stopper. Or perhaps he's just very good at tyre wear. Senna then your new leader, but not by far, as Brad is now right in there. Within a second. Senna's tyres must be starting to go off as Brad and Syme start to catch him. Easy Life scrapping with Ninjas in a battle that Maxwell could really do with getting away from. He's past his teammate. And now Max is going to pass Easy Life as well. Senna then from Brad by less now, as you can see, than a second. Apologies for my grogginess this evening. The Super Bowl late night is catching up with me. There we go, what a great view this is of Brad taking the lead. Brad from Senna now with Syme right with them. Joker is holding fourth from Mr. Pickle and Colin. Swanton has managed to get past Smug and up to P7. Smug and Sloth still together. And Ronnie rounding off the top 10. So can Senna come back at Brad? Can Syme get involved? Is it going to be nearly pit stop time for Senna, I wonder? Indeed it is. He pulls off into the pit lane. So Senna's going to get out of the way, and these two are going to be battling for the lead now. 50 Gent just took Ronnie for P10. And Senna will rejoin. He won't rejoin yet, of course. Slow old pit lane here. Easy Life into the pits and picks up a 5-second penalty. Senna's going to come out behind Mark T and Ninjas, I think. So Brad leads from Syme. Ninja's the latest to pick a penalty up. Mr. Pickle still can't get away past Joker. And his inventive use of lines has cost him 6 seconds in penalties so far. Finally now Mr. Pickle does get the move. And up to P3 goes the Ferrari. And now into the pits comes the Ferrari. So the overtake is rendered pretty pointless. But you never know, and hang on a minute. Somebody's just given us 10 tier 1 subs. Thank you. Thank you so much to the anonymous gifter. Stacey, if that was you, then I will be asking you about that later. But normally you put your name on it. So thank you so much to the anonymous gifter. And welcome new subscribers. Syme, who's racing. Gore. Matt, 7151. Legs. Sloth, who's also racing. Abby6. The Unholy Confessions, Swanton, who's also racing, CJQ, my old teammate from Prospects, and Widowman. So there you go. You guys have all got a tier 1 sub thanks to an anonymous gifter.
Red heart.
Thank you so much for that. So there you go. Wow, that's all. That's one way to wake the commentator up now. Where were we? We were with Brad leading, Syme in second. Colin is in third place and Syme's into the pits. So Colin will take second now. He's just past Joker. Also into the pits is Smug. Max Weld and Ronnie are scrapping there. And Max Weld is he going to get back out ahead of Syme? Yes, he is. But he'll probably have to pit again, I feel. Is Mark T going to get ahead of Syme? He is. And Senna. So Syme comes back out in P12. Of course, lots of pit stops still to happen. There we go. I think that's the most subscribers we've ever had on the old Twitch. With 10 gifted subs right there. Adding to our numbers. If you'd like to subscribe, then click that subscribe button. If you have Prime, you can do so for free. And then that means no adverts for you. Joker getting very close to Colin here. Neither of these two have pit yet. Brad is into the pits from the lead of the race. And it'll be interesting to see where he comes back into play. Sloth also into the pits. Swanton now promoted up to P3. Let's see where Brad is going to rejoin. He's behind Max World. Also in the Sloth and Levi. And we've got cautions in Sector 1. Which I'm not sure what that was for. But Brad comes out right behind Syme. Look at that! Right behind Syme and ahead of Mark T. Of course, Mark T pitted very, very early though. So he'll need to pit again. Colin leads the race now from Joker. And Joker spun! Joker has spun!
Evening Blob, and thanks who gifted me the sub.
We've got another 5 in the sub, and if that's you, Stacey, please stop it. Welcome new subscribers, Glowstick, Georgie, Cam, Mick and Kevin. And hello to Cam in the chat as well. Welcome to your new subscription. The front 3 into the pit lane, Colin, Swanton and Joker.
Red Heart, Red Heart.
Max is into the lead of the race. Swanton is going to be coming out. Where are they all coming out? Senna is going to go to P2. Senna into P2. Syme, Brad, Mr. Pickle, then Colin, Swanton, Joker. Smug's passing a few of these. Passing a lot of these. Where's he coming out?
Red Heart left facing fist.
Where is Smug going to be in relation to Swanton? Very close to him is the answer. And then off goes Smug. Off goes Smug. Senna and Syme are scrapping.
I'm guessing it was you, Stacey, gifted the subs.
Yes, I think so. I very much do think so, and I'm very grateful. That is a lot of subs to be gifting.
Maybe lol face with tears of joy.
That is a lot of subs to be gifting. It's certainly the most subs we've ever had in one stream. Syme and Senna still scrapping.
Yes, Red Heart.
So the pit stops are over for now. A few have come out on softs which may not last to the end. Can Max keep it with 7 laps already in those tyres? Mark T pitted again and is now down in 16th, so the two-stopper has not worked for him. So lap 17 of 26, and I'll take you through the order again. Max Weld leads. Syme is in second with Senna right on his tail. Then it's Brad in P4. Mr. Pickles up to P5 in the Ferrari. Then it's Colin Swanton. Joker passing Smug. And look at Sloth just behind. So Joker relegates Smug to P9. Senna's picked up a penalty. That could be massive. And that could cost him a podium. Smug in P9. About to be passed, is he, by his teammate Sloth. Alfa Romeo side by side. And Sloth is up to P9. The two of them racing away here. No thought of team orders at Alfa Romeo, sorry. Stakes Sauber next season, much easier to say. 50 Gent in 11th place there. Ahead of Levi in 12. Ronnie in 13. King Kong in 14. Mark T in 15 from Easy Life. Ninjas and Roddy the Kid, all 18. Still going. No safety cars in this race as of yet, and no DNFs. Wouldn't it be brilliant if we could have a whole race without a DNF or a safety car? Let's see if we can do it. Lap 18 of 26. As Ninjas passes Easy Life. We have got Brad chasing Senna, who's now being dropped by Syme. Syme is closing the gap to Max, but at the moment not at a quick enough rate that we're going to see the grandstand finish unless Max's tyres go off. Brad, though, is really getting after Senna now. And the move is on for Brad round the outside. And that is P3 for Brad. Mr. Pickles' 6 seconds of penalties are going to negate some of his good work in the strategy department. As at the moment he's set to drop 2 places. Colin and Swanton within the 6. We'll put the penalties up there for you. 8 seconds for Ninjas and Easy Life. 6 for Mr. Pickle, 3 for Senna, Smug and Levi. We will give you a Pro-Am update as well as we look for the Pro-Ams. Sloth, championship leader, is leading the Pro-Ams in P9. 50 Gent is in second. And Levi is third, ahead of Ronnie, King Kong, Ninjas, Easy Life and Roddy the Kid. Levi and Ronnie right in there with 50 though. And look at Ronnie trying to make a move here, Ronnie. Didn't quite get it on that occasion. Roddy the Kid at the back has picked up a penalty. Not to confuse Roddy with Ronnie there. 50 Gent, Levi and Ronnie. This is podium battling of the Pro-Ams. Levi with a penalty, so needs to get a move on, get past and get away. But that will not be as easy as it sounds with 50 Gent stubbornly in front of him. Can this be the moment for Levi? Yes, it can. Levi up to P11 and P2 of the Pro-Ams. Meanwhile, Syme has reeled Max in another second. Brad is close behind Syme. We could be coming towards a grandstand finish. Colin has caught Mr. Pickle. Doesn't need to pass him because of the 6 seconds of penalties, but will want to so he can get after Senna. Colin, of course, on soft tyres for the last stint. Ronnie looking for a move on 50 Gent, but 50 has got some DRS to help him defend. Colin getting very close to the back of Mr. Pickle here. Can't really try and overtake through there. So he'll have to bide his time and get a good exit. Bit of DRS. That's what he's done. Mr. Pickle tried to cover the inside but couldn't do it. And Colin goes up to P5. Lap 21 of 26. The gap for Max Weld 6 seconds over Syme, who might have to turn his attentions to Brad. 50 Gent not giving up on that P2 as it stands in the Pro-Ams. He's back ahead of Levi. Ronnie still looks on behind the both of them. And awaits his opportunity to get involved. Brad getting close now to the back of Syme, which might just help Max Weld maintain the gap if these two are scrapping. Swanton currently P7, the championship leader, but he is catching this.
You should see me in the crowd. Watch me make 'em bow one by one by one. You should see
Skull and Bones, available February 16th. Pre-order the premium edition to play up to 3 days early.
The only phone with best tape. Google Pixel 8.
It all comes down to this basic question. Can I improve me? You will begin to find out that learning is good for you, and the great things that you do are really happenings.
Going to keep an eye on Brad though as he goes for P2 ahead of Syme. I think Max is going to be able to hold on here as these two scrap for position. Brad up the inside into P2. Now, do either or both of these drivers have that extra injection of late pace? There's a big lock up there from Brad. Do either of these two have the injection of pace to make up nearly 6 seconds in the remaining 4 laps? They've got to go about 1.5 seconds a lap quicker than Max to catch him. And of course, catching somebody's one thing, passing them is quite another. Mr. Pickle. Mr. Pickle now with 9 seconds of penalties. Syme not giving up on Brad. Championship implications with these two. Swanton not too far back behind them in P6. The gap is not closing to Max Weld as these two continue to focus on each other. Levi 50 and Ronnie. Now Ronnie seems to be making the move for 50. Levi's trying to get away a bit as his penalties at the moment will drop him below both of these two and off the Pro-Am podium. Max seems to have done enough. 50's picked up a penalty there and that's going to cost him. And Ronnie's just got to cruise home behind the two of them now and he'll pick up P2 in the Pro-Am. So great news for Ronnie, not great news for 50 Gent as he picks up the penalty under pressure from Ronnie. Syme is still trying to get to Brad for P2, but the two of them are still 5 seconds behind, 5+ behind Max World, who is making his way into Sector 2, and he's looking like, without any kind of commentator's curse, touch wood and all that, Max World is looking like he's going to put this McLaren on the top step of the podium this evening. There you can see the gap. It is quite long. That straight is quite long. Syme trying to get to Brad. Swanton trying to get to Colin. And possibly trying to get within 3 seconds of Senna as well. Levi from 50 from Ronnie, who knows he hasn't got to do anything silly at the back. Roddy the Kid is ahead now of King Kong, who pitted again and is closing in on Easy Life. And there could be a move here, and it was a bit of a dive from Roddy, and Roddy's picked up a penalty. We saw Roddy make a dive there on Easy Life. That was a little bit clumsy, and he should probably give the place back. And then Ronnie made a mistake and has picked up a penalty, and that's going to cost him the Pro-Am podium. Swanton closes in on Colin. Syme closes on Brad. Are we going to get to the end with all 18? Mark T's picked up a penalty. Are we going to get to the end with all 18 who started finishing the race and no safety cars? It looks like we've done the no safety cars bit as Colin tries to defend from Swanton. Swanton doing his level best to get by and does so up the inside. Swanton up to P5. Max World is on to the final lap of the race. And he's still 5 seconds ahead of Brad. He's just got to keep it now. His tyres will be going off. He's just got to keep it. And Levi's lost the place to 50. 50 Gent overtakes Levi. Mark T overtakes Ronnie. Massive for 50 that. Syme takes Brad on the final lap. Or does he? They're side by side. Syme gets ahead. Incredible end to this race. Colin hasn't given up on Swanton yet. Brad will try and close Syme down. I saw a McLaren going over the line, but it was Ninjas. It's not yet the end. Maxwell goes into the final sector. Just a couple more corners for Max World. Colin and Swanton so close together. Max World has lost a second on this lap, and he won't care. He comes round the final corner to win at Silverstone. Max World wins. Syme second, Brad third, Senna. I think Colin and Swanton have had an accident on the last corner, and Swanton has bore the brunt of it. Senna finishes P4, ahead of both of them. Colin in 5, Mr. Pickle will drop down. Swanton P6, Joker P7, Mr. Pickle P8, then Sloth. Smug rounds off the top 10. Sloth wins the Pro-Am. 50 Gent will be next across the line to be P2 in the Pro-Am. Mark T P12. Levi takes the Pro-Am third ahead of Ronnie. Then it's Ninjas, Roddy the Kid, Easy Life and King Kong. Ninjas over the line. Roddy is next with Easy Life right on his tail. Not sure about their penalties. Both had some, and one Easy Life will be jumped by King Kong. But we have 18 finishers from 18 and no safety cars. Well done, everyone. Maxwell, the driver of the day, according to the game, he takes the win. And I'll take a deep breath and take you through those once again. Maxwell wins them for McLaren. Simon P2 with the fastest lap from Brad in third. Then it was Senna P4. Colin was P5 ahead of Swanton in P6. Joker P7. Mr. Pickle in P8. Sloth, the Pro-Am winner, in P9. Smug was P10. Then it was 50 Gent, the Pro-Am runner-up, in P11. Mark T was P12. Pit strategy not working for him. Levi taking the Pro-Am podium in P13. Good points for Ferrari as they continue to climb away from the bottom. Then it was Ronnie in the Aston Martin. Ninjas, Roddy the Kid, King Kong and Easy Life. That brings us to the end of DRS Mondays. We will be back, as I try and look at my watch, in about 45 minutes with Blobby Mondays from Portugal. Still spaces. If you want to join in, do join the Discord and we'll get you in. We've got a few reserve spots today, so the more the merrier. I am off for a toilet break and to get another drink before we go racing. Lobby will open at 9:45. I'll be streaming, so I will see you then at 10. Thank you very much to our anonymous gifter who gave us 15 tier 1 subs in the stream. Absolutely love you for that. And thanks for watching, and we will be back shortly. Thank you very much.
Only phone with best tape. Google Pixel 8.